What is up, Coquette Dragoon Nation? How's everyone doing? How are the vibes? Oh god, everything's broken. Okay, we're good. We're good. Everything's not broken. Okay. Okay, this seems good. This seems to be working good. I'm like honestly, really looking forward. And let me lower my own sound. Let me know how the background music sounds. Let me know how that stuff. Yeah. Fuck, I really like this game. This game's really good. Yeah, I had a hard time not playing it more off stream last night or earlier today. I'm like really looking forward to see what happens here. I have been really enjoying these streams. And today, I'm probably not gonna go as long as I did yesterday. Although I want to, but probably not. But then we have the stream for Thursday, so we'll have more stuff. But yeah. Let's get into it, honestly. Let's just get into this. Let's fucking go. Oh, there is. If you can't hear music, then there's a problem on my end. I erased it. Good? Okay, cool. Cool. Perfect. Okay, with that, let's go into this. Load. We're right over here. So, quick recap in case you weren't here yesterday. We're in chapter 3. Shio was on the Gundam, on the Dragoon for the first time, and it scared the shit out of her. Because it like put in her brain all the information she needed to pilot it. And that, which is already a very unnatural thing, to know all these things and be able to feel and understand all these things, paired with her trauma, her anxiety, her depression, her self-doubt, have really done a trick to her. So she just finished and then immediately collapsed. After doing a training exercise with her Dragoon, and Ayane, her friend, is taking her to the locker room. So let's go in there. Should I go to the doctor? Huh? Nah, that's fine. You just need to lay down for a bit. Alright. Do you need any help with your suit? Or if that's not too personal. No. I can manage myself. Could you wait outside? Sure. Just give me a yell if you fall over or something. Oh. I guess she went to her room and not to the locker room? Or we're just skipping that scene? Yeah, we're just skipping that scene. Okay, cool. Wow! Your room really sucks! On this side, glancing around at the piled up boxes. Sorry. Shio croaked, barely able to stand. Well, let's go then. Ayane pulled Shio with her away from the doorway. Where to? My room, obviously. Oh, her room's very cute and gay. Look at that. That's just titties. I'm putting it on stream. I don't fucking care. Come cancel me, Twitch. Nice, isn't it? Ayane twirled her hair with pride. Shio could barely make out her surroundings. Yeah. Here, you should lay down. Is it okay? Of course it is. I invited you. Do you need anything? Water, cigarettes, snacks? No, I'm okay. Thank you, though. Shio trailed off, passing out as soon as she hit the bed. Boop, 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 boop. Custard and pastry! War and peas! Are these supposed to be the girls? Give me a second. Remember their voices. Custard and pastry! War and peas! Crime and punishment! I'm Millie! And I'm Philly! And we are Millie Philly! Today's segment will be our soon-to-be famous Advice Corner. You got some burning questions, and we got all the answers. First off, a letter from Miss Sachs aboard the Sifferantes. I have started a new job. It's dangerous. I'm scared of the people around me, and I can't run away. What should I do? That sounds like quite the pickle. Though it's not too hard to guess where you're working, Ensign X. I hope they haven't given you the key to the armory. Hey, I think, you could try and make some friends. Hey, Nancy, hey, Nancy. I hope you're doing good. We are Catgooning. We're in chapter 3. We are with the gay girls. Well, right now, we don't know where two of our gay girls are. One of them is passed out in bed of another girl who we presume is also gay, though she hasn't confirmed that. After piloting the Dragoon for the first time and having a terrible time. I think you could try and make some friends. It doesn't sound like you have any. I mean, that wasn't meant to sound so awful. Don't lock yourself away. If you spend all your time in isolation, anywhere will feel like a prison. And make sure you're only aiming your gun at the bad guys. Philly! Boop, 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 boop. Millie and Philly. The dubiously canon characters.
They're the Greek choir.
They're the Greek chorus, yeah. Sometimes they're in canon, sometimes they're speaking to you, the audience. I love you. You're my geek chorus. You're my geek chorus. Come get me if you need me, okay? Shio lay half awake, gazing at Ayana's back like a lesbian, like a gay lesbian that she is, as she sat at the foot of the bed. The thick smell of cigarette smoke hung in the air. She couldn't quite make it out, but Ayana was watching a strange talk show, something she'd seen before somewhere. Shio remembered piloting, waking up in the hangar, and Ayana bringing her back here. Gay. Hi, puppy! Hi, baby. But it all felt like a dream she'd just woken from. Was that girl in the cockpit really her? Could she really pilot such a thing? Could she really feel such things? She stared at Ayane, realizing she had begun to hold her breath. What was acceptable right now? Kissing her. Kissing her is acceptable. Go ahead and kiss her. Shio slowly slid her body on the edge of Ayana's bed, unsure whether she wanted to be noticed moving. After a brief pause, she croaked in a small voice. Good morning. Oh, Ayana rolled over on her beanbag. So like beanbag to face Shio. Come on. And that'd be good afternoon. You were out for a while. I didn't say anything weird in my sleep, did I? Ayana tilted her head in confusion. You didn't say anything. Oh, good. I took your shoes off. Hope you don't mind. I am a feet pervert. No. How are you feeling? Oh, that's fine. And okay, I think. Have you been here all this time? Yeah. I thought Susie had looked after you, didn't I? Thank you. Don't look so surprised. You missed lunch? Feeling hungry? Yeah, actually. Shio put a hand on her stomach. I missed breakfast, too. I need to eat a lot after I fly, so what do you want? Ayana rolled her eyes and took a drag from her cigarette. I'm saying I'll get you dinner. What do you want? Oh, what did you want to eat? Ayana sighed and crossed her arms. I'm asking you, what do you want? It's us! Oh, Shio scratched at her cheek. Ayana gave up. Do you want me just to pick for you? That would be easier. Big fucking mood. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you what to do, what to eat, where to grab. That'd be easier. Hey, Wiggle Burger! I love a Wiggle Burger. Wigdonald's. You feel like Wiggle Burger? Yeah, that sounds good. I can't believe it's really called that. Okie dokie, Wiggle Burger it is. Ayana cheered, grabbing her wallet from the desk. Shio leaned forward. Do you want me to come with? Ayana placed her hand on Shio's head. I'm not carrying you home again. You need to rest, okay? Okay. Sorry. It's fine. There's cups by the sink if you're thirsty. Ayana gestured to the back of the room. Feel free to anything in the fridge. Not that you should be drinking right now. I'll be like 20 minutes, yeah? Okay. I love these gays. I love these homos. Shio waved goodbye, only realizing how heavy her arm felt. God, it feels like a burger. I want like a burger for dinner. Now they're talking about burgers. Babe, I want burger for dinner. We don't have to. They're just talking about burgers. It's getting to me. I'm easily influenced. With Ayana gone, Shio sat fidgeting on her bed. If talking to a kind face felt like coming up for air, then being left alone was like plunging back into the ocean. Replaying the events since waking up in the hangar, it all felt so humiliating. She couldn't do anything right. Reminder, if you aren't here, she is one of the most talented pilots who has ever piloted. Her scores are better than almost anyone. The average score is 50. She has a 75, 77 score, which is like almost unprecedented. Everyone's telling her she's done amazing and has made no mistakes and is doing nothing wrong. And yet, she couldn't do anything right. She couldn't do anything without needing everyone else's help. Shio's eyes wandered around Ayana's room. She knew it was the same floor plan as her own, and yet it felt irrevocably different. Maybe it's because in your room, Shio, you have boxes full of things of a dead girl you never knew. To Shio, it looked like a room she would only ever see on TV, sealed away within the realm of fiction. It was a little messy, but clearly filled with things Ayane treasured. Decorations and personal touches were everywhere Shio looked. Ayane had strung up lights, taped up posters, kept plans, even brought her own furniture. CDs were piled up next to her stereo, by her desk, seemingly everywhere in the room. This was her most obvious passion. A board on the wall was filled with colorful photos, though none contained any people. There was a brand new plush toy on the floor. Shio could only imagine if it was a gift from a date. Ayane seemed to have a habit of buying too much makeup. Most of the tubes and bottles scattered around the room looked like they had never even been opened. Shio felt something painful. Maybe a little envious? She never lived like this. Bitch, you live like this? And it felt like she didn't even know how. Every room she'd ever lived in was bare and untouchable. Bare and untouched. And she treated everywhere she lived as if she were merely passing through. Personal decoration was a vector for mockery. Too much effort, and too difficult to understand. She didn't take pride or interest in anything at all. I have been there, that's the trauma speaking. When she had a laptop, it felt too embarrassing to even set a custom wallpaper for the desktop in case anyone ever saw it. I have been there, sure have been there, oh the trauma. Ayane's quarters were a bedroom, and Shio's were a cell. Shio put her feet up onto the bed, squeezing her knees to her chest. It felt like she was an intruder. Even just looking around and thinking these pitiful things felt like a violation. Shio couldn't figure out why Ayane was so kind to her. Cause she likes you, you dumbass. Or why she let her stay here. Cause she likes you, you dumbass. She was a cynical and carefree person who had no interest in doing anything that didn't suit her. Cause she likes you, you dumbass. Nothing about them felt suited to each other. Shio couldn't be any more unlike her. Shio feared being put up... big mood also. Shio feared being put up with out of pity. But it was always Ayane who came and talked to her first. She teased her all the time, but she always greeted Shio with a smile. I can't figure it out. I want her to like me. I really do. She's so funny, so charming and insightful. I really like her. But how do I compare to any of that? I hate feeling so jealous. I hate comparing our bodies, our voices, our demeanors. Oh, sweet, sweet trans baby, please. I'm sure everyone that's ever met her has fallen for her. I'm probably fallen for her too. Probably, bitch! She's nice to me. It feels like she likes me, but the part of me that can't make sense of it wants to run away from her. Transgender. But we've gotten a lot of hints and basically confirmation that Shio is trans. At one point she was forced to use the male facilities and she didn't like that. Along with a bunch of other things about medicine and a bunch of other little hints. But does that mean she sees me as an equal? Is the right thing to trust her? Or just naive? If she was just messing with me, using me, or whatever else, Could I even tell the difference? I am the cruel one for doubting her, aren't I? Sitting her with all of these disgusting, jealous thoughts. What am I even doing? I keep getting stuck in these patterns. Just like at the arcade, the second I'm left alone, it all comes bleeding out. Big fucking mood, my babe. Even when her kindness is right in front of me, I doubt her. What is wrong with me? A memory of waking up in a bedroom. It was a nice place. Oh, heads up, we might be seeing some abuse. We might be seeing some, I don't know, but based on context clues and things we've seen before, we might be seeing some flashbacks of abuse, mental, physical, and even sexual. So, like, if this is not something you can handle right now, please don't push it. Okay, and I'll try if it becomes more obvious, I'll try to do another check before that. He lived in a safe house on the larger ships, on one of the larger ships. It wasn't anything like the Sephirantes, but it had gravity and clean air. To anyone else, it was a dirty bedroom with clothes strewn all over the floor. But to Shio, this felt like the closest she'd ever come to paradise. She wasn't alone anymore. Looking back, this was the first time her and Fuffy had really fought. As Shio lay staring at the light through the window, the room shook with a fist pounding at the door. "Open up, you fucking pig!" a shrill voice rang out. "What the fuck do you want?" the man laying to her side yelled back in a stutter, rubbing his eyes. "That little girlfriend of yours stole from my room. I had $50 on my bedside table and now it's gone." "What are you talking about?" "Open the fucking door. She's in there, right?" She remembered feeling frozen in panic. Why was this happening to her? He leaned closer. See, you didn't do anything. Right?" "Of course I didn't. I promise I didn't even go into her room." "You were here all night." "Of course I was," Shio cried. Why did he down her too? Why even ask that? Why? Open the fuck up! Hey, calm your freaking farm. She says she never left the room. And you trust her? A dirty French rat like that? You're just her meal ticket. Hey, don't say that shit. She can talk to me herself, can't she? She's pretty anxious with you screaming at her, dude. I'm not screaming, and if she won't talk to me, she can talk to the police. Hey, wait, no fucking cops. No fucking cops. He grabbed his wallet from the dresser, scrambling to the door. Shio hid her face as he cracked open the door open. Look, $50, right? Just take this shit and get out of our faces. If you find the money, you pay me back. I didn't take it, Shio sobbed. I know, it's just... It'd be bad if she got the cops involved. But I didn't do anything. That's not what I'm worried about. He gave a short laugh, looking away from her. I mean, Jesus Christ. So yeah. Heads up for presumably an adult man with an underage girl. Underage trans girl. Please be safe if this is too much. Why am I saying? I don't know. I mean, you're underage, right? Don't you love trauma? Don't you love trauma? And here comes your new trans girlfriend. I don't know if she's trans. Your new girlfriend with food. Aren't you happy? How's your trauma doing, babe? I'm back! Ayana sung, bursting through the door with a pile of fast food. Welcome back. Shio flinched. You doing okay? Ayana pulled a small table over to the bed and sat down beside Shio. Shio shifted uncomfortably. Is it okay if I use your bathroom? Ayana's tail fell behind her. You really just sat here this entire time waiting to ask me that, huh? Why wouldn't it be okay? Seriously. I don't know. Oh my god, just go. I'm gonna shoot her. I made sure to wash my hands. Oh, this traumatized baby. Shio, I do not care. We are eating separate meals, and you're not touching my food anyway. Ayana spoke monotone. I'm sorry. I'm being annoying. Jesus Christ. This is so fucking relatable. I'm in pain. I'm in so much pain. You aren't. Well, you are. But when you say things like this, I worry about you. I'm sorry. Don't say sorry. And don't say sorry for that either. Okay. Ayana sighed. I'm not precious about my stuff or personal space or whatever. My home is your home and all that. So try and relax. It's all military property anyway. Yeah, Shio nodded. So how was your flight? Ayana asked, unwrapping a hamburger. My first was kind of a disaster. Really? The less said about it, the better. Right, I did well, I think. It's, how do I even describe it? It felt too easy? It's so weird. It's screwy for sure. She'll scratch her head. I feel like I barely remember it, or like I'm remembering someone else's memory. I don't even know how to word it. No, I get it, Ayana nodded. It's like having another limb, but it's different from... Shio trailed off. It's just weird. None of this is making sense. Piloting doesn't make sense. For me, it's like being in one of those arcade cabinets. Yeah. Once it comes to fighting, well... Ayana picked at her fries. Let's not get into that. Does it ever, feel weird to you? Being selected? Well, yeah. It's not like I ever thought it was particularly special. Not that this job is special at all, but you know what I mean. It's very arbitrary. She wanted to ask how she ended up here, but she already picked up on the sense that this question was off limits between pilots. You should eat while it's hot. I did go and get all of this just for you. Right, sorry. She'd only eaten this kind of thing a few times, and she could tell it wasn't very good for her, but it was really nice. I don't know how I live without hamburgers. God, I'm really craving a hamburger now. After finishing eating and washing her hands, Shio sat down beside Ayana on the table, on her bed table. What's she supposed to do now? I haven't thanked you properly. You've done a lot for me tonight. Ayana glanced at her for a moment, her ears folding back a little. I mean, I kinda sat there while you slept and then grabbed dinner. It wasn't anything, really. It's something... If there's something I can do in return. Ayana sighed. You don't owe me anything for that. I'd rather get shot than parrot any of the fucking garbage about how we're all one big team, but like, you know. In terms of just you and me, this whole war and everything, we're in this mess together. Shio smiled. Yeah. Do you wanna just stay here tonight? That room of yours is depressing. Oh, if it's okay. Ayana sighed. You already slept in my bed. Sorry, yeah, I'd really like that. Shio stood up. I'll have to go and get my pajamas and my toothbrush. Of course you wear pajamas. You don't? I just wear a t-shirt. Like pajamas! I like pajamas, they're cute. And I get cold at night, Shio protested. That's very you. Well, I'll just be waiting here then. Transgengar. Transgengar. There is no such thing as a cis Gengar. All Gengars are trans. Shio opened the drawer in her room and pulled out her folded onesie. It even had a bunny ears on the hood. I loved her. I haven't bought any real clothing since I got here, but I did buy this pretty much immediately. I guess that is very me. I did that before I did anything about this room. Shio sighed, looking around the piles of boxes. The few pieces of clothing she'd packed weren't very nice. Even if they got here, she'd have thrown them out anyways, now that she could afford so much better. She never had any kind of heirlooms. Oh yeah, by the way, she had no property when she came in here because she was almost blown up right before she got here by one of my favorite characters. But she ended up with a hole in her shoulder and no property. So all these boxes, everything in this room, it's literally from the last girl who was here who died. And she hasn't done anything about it. That's totally healthy and fine. She missed her laptop, but that too could be replaced. All she ever really needed back home was Fuffy. Fuffy is her, like, stuffed doll / robot? Which we haven't seen for a bit, actually. She examined the room, hoping she'd catch sight of a pink fluffy tail. She's still not home. I really made a mistake with her, didn't I? I can't start thinking about this now. Not on top of everything else. I'll be okay. It'll be okay. Finders keepers. She hasn't even touched it. Oh my god, she's so fucking cute. Ayane, please protect and also kiss this girl. Ayane snored as she emerged from her bathroom. I don't think I can snore on command. There we go. It is very you. It's cute, right? Ayane covered her mouth with her hand, trying not to laugh. It's a onesie. But it's cute, right? Yes. It's very cute. Very cute. Come sit down. Ayane patted the space next to her on the bed. Shio settled down next to Ayane, blushing and tucking her knees to her chest. So, anything you particularly want to do? I don't actually really know what people do at sleepovers. Ayane fell backwards onto the bed. Yeah, baby, cozy in my pajamas and shit. Straight up snug as a bug in a rug. Oh, Shio. It's so adorable that you call it a sleepover. We're banging. Don't make fun of me. Well, for starters, what kind of music do you like? I'm not sure. You are not sure. I want to hear what you like. Well, sure. Ayane stood up and walked over to her stereo, sitting down to dig through the pile of discs. I don't think I've listened to this one yet. Ayane examined the case. Give me a second. Hopefully it's not shit. That's fine. Shio could not even imagine showing someone music she liked, or even just putting something on without betting it first. So, what are you, like, into anyhow? Ayane asked, putting in a CD. Your interests, hobbies. Shio paused for a second. What could she say? she'd like to read. Oh, hell yeah. Let me know if the music's loud enough. Oh, this is pretty good. Let me know if the music's loud enough you can hear it. I might raise it a little bit to make sure y'all are hearing this. It's good shit. She'll pause for a moment. What could she say? She liked to read, but she'd given up on writing. Could she say she still even liked reading? I already know you're a nerd. It doesn't have to be something cool. I couldn't really afford to get super into it, but I'm kinda interested in the GS homebrew scene. I don't know if those works make any sense. Not particularly, but go on. Oh, you heard of GameSys, right? Oh yeah, I think my little brother has one. They were mass-produced for a while, but the company went defunct after the Navy took control of chip production. There's been a few reproductions though. It's really hard to find modern consoles in the fringes, and PC games never really took off since no one has the hardware, so GS kinda became the norm. Anyway, it uses some pretty standard interfaces, and there's a really simple workaround for running pirated software and unsigned stuff. I used to make a bit of money soldering on mod chips for people, actually. That's kinda cool. You think? But yeah, it's a bit of an old system, but anyone can still make and sell stuff for it. There's a lot of really interesting stuff out there. My favorites are, role-playing games and dating sims. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Girl, you've said 20 words. You've literally said 20 words. Be nice to yourself, please. I think that sounds cool. Ayana stood up from beside her CD player. Really? I don't really know games that well, but I mean, this is a good example actually. This track is just from some rando on the internet. It's kinda the same thing, right? All the good, actually original stuff comes from scenes like that. So I get what you're saying. Ayana fell on the bed beside Shio. I like that kind of stuff. Does your phone take a card? I can give you some of my mixes. I don't have a phone. Tactical squishes. Tactical squishes. Ayana squished Shio's face with both hands. Shio. Yes? Let me try to get her voice while I'm getting my face squished. Yes? We are buying you a phone ASAP. Okay. How am I meant to text you pictures of my cute little table cactus? I can see your cactus on here. Ayana let go with a sigh. Oh, I wanted to keep doing that. I kinda lost it on the way here. It's a long story. Fair enough, I guess. Hey, speaking of missing, where'd your little butt go? I haven't seen her for a while. Foofy? She comes and goes. Is that okay? Yeah, she's registered in my name and has an ID program. She's allowed anywhere in the base I'm allowed. I'm surprised they let her in. I think you're the only person here with one of those. They can make exceptions for pilots, I guess. Technically, she's employed by the military too, actually. Not that she gets paid or anything. Huh. Was it really okay for her to be gone today, though? Like, you've been nervous about this since you first got here, right? And like, she said she's meant to be looking out for you. You get into a fight or something? It's not exactly a fight. Shio fidgeted with her hands. I guess it's complicated. Bit of a sore subject, huh? Shio nodded, looking past her. I don't want to be so obvious. Everyone knows why I have her in the first place. But I don't want you to think I'm so dependent on her. Ayana reached out, hand bristling against Shio's shoulder. Shio recoiled backwards by reflex. Sorry! It's a lot less cute to pat someone on the arm when they flinch, Ayana grimaced. Sorry, I was kinda stoned out. It's alright. Flying makes me pretty loopy. I don't know if it's just that. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I haven't really been fun to be around. Do you spend time with people because it's fun? Ayana scooched a little closer. Reach her hand out again. Shio tilting her head into Ayana's palm. See? Nothing to be scared of. Gay, 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 gay. Why is my hair not being ruffled right now? That's what I really want to say. Ayana cooed, ruffling Shio's hair. Shio stayed silent. I get Fluffy's important to you. She's been with you for a long time, yeah? It feels childish. You've seen this place. Aren't we all kids? Ayana laughed. Next time I see her, I'm gonna squish her into a little ball for ditching you. Don't do that! Shio laughed despite herself. I'm on the warpath. She's dead meat. Be nice to her. I'll try. And you are fun to be around, you know? Thanks. Can I brush your hair? Ayana asked, looking down at Shio. Your helmet made kind of a mess of it. Huh? If you really want to. Here, turn around. Ayana grabbed the brush from her bedside table. It's hard to have long hair here, isn't it? Gay, 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 homosexual, gay, homosexual, gay, 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 homosexual, gay. Yeah. Why the pigtails anyway? Ayana undid one of Shio's ribbons. Because it's cute? Shio's voice cracked. You are... Oh, big fucking mood being trans! Listen! Fucking get it! You're very fixated on cute. You're very fixated on my pigtails. Shio sighed. Can I brush your hair? Not for gay reasons, I swear. I think they're fun. And you really are cute with them. Your hair looks really nice let down though. Ayana pondered, lifting a strand. You think? Shio blushed. Yeah. Be gentle. Shio tensed up as Ayana placed the brush in her hair. Ayana squeezed Shio around her waist. Relax. I know how to brush hair. Sorry, and I guess I always like to have my hair a little long, but you gotta tie it up in G, and well, I just like pigtails. Oh yeah, I pin my bangs back when I'm piloting. Hey, does it still feel weird being in gravity? It does, yeah. Recently when I'm outside, well, in the more open spaces, I mean. We say outside. Right, outside. I get this feeling of like I'm going to start falling when I look up. It freaks me out. That's rough. That's rough, buddy. Do I ever seem clumsy on my feet or anything like that? Huh? What do you mean? I mean, I'm not really used to walking. I've never done it this much before. Oh! You seem fine. I haven't noticed anything, I mean. I see. That's good then. Shio sat curled up in Ayane's lap. Her words lost to her. Ayane reeked of sickly sweet perfume, mixed in with the smell of makeup, sweat, and cigarettes. This is one of the sexiest things any single person, regardless of gender, can fucking smell like. I'm just telling you. Sweet perfume, makeup, sweat, and cigarettes. There is not a single fucking sexier smell combination in the fucking world. To me, I know Marie doesn't like small cigarettes. The other day, last week, 2 weeks ago, I hung out with this girl. We went on a date, and she was a smoker, so I smoked a little bit with her. And like, she had that smell, and then she also had incense going on at the same time. So when I came home, my wife Marie, who I love, was like, "You smell of incense." Like, not the cigarette, not the, sex, or anything else, the sweat or anything. It was like, "You smell of incense," and I was like, "Yeah, I do. Let me go shower." I love her so much. Shio disliked her perfume usually, but there was something about coming back from her flight to it that it felt comforting right now. Let's call you're gay. Sitting together like this made her chest feel tight. She wanted to be touched, but the thought that she still wasn't used to it was sad. It was only possible at all because Ayane was so carefree. All I do is follow her around all day. I get sad when we don't have class together. You're gay, you are gay. Feeling okay? Ayane asked. I don't know. You worry a lot, Ayane sighed, leaning against Shio's back. I'm sorry. I will noogie you if you keep apologizing to me. I'm just nervous. It's okay. It's not weird if I say thank you instead, is it? Thanks for what? For being nice to me. It's really no big deal. It is to me. You're always so sappy. There. Ayane set down her brush. There. Your hair's done. Thanks. I never had anyone really do that for me, Shio stuttered. That much is obvious. Oh. This is really your first sleepover then? Ayane asked. I mean, it's different, but I've stayed with... I love that the music fucking cut out for this! Yeah, no, we need to go back, baby. I need a good take of this. This is really your first sleepover then? I mean, it's different, but I've stayed with... Oh, it didn't call it this time. A boyfriend. Oh la la! Ayane grinned, grabbing Shio's waist. Shio shook her head. It wasn't... Ayane let go. Oh. I'll rip his head off then. Please do. Shio sighed. God, everyone at home sucked. I wasn't sure what to expect here, but I didn't think I'd meet nice people like you and Susie. Disappointed I'm not some psycho with a buzz cut? Ayane laughed. Shio groaned. Ayane rested her chin on Shio's shoulder. Now, if only our COs were so unexpected. Yeah. The short guy with the big hat is absolutely and unquestionably a serial killer. I got that impression, Shio sighed. I'm gonna take a shower and get changed, Ayane yawned. Letting go, Shio. You can hug that teddy if you get lonely, Ayane winked back at Shio. Hey, Shio whined. Shio rubbed her arms as Ayane closed the door. She did get lonely. Teddy. Oh my god! Very cute. Let's go to twitter.com. I need to post about this on the website. A website about terrible decisions. The Terrible Decision website. Twitter.com. I made a tweet about this, but let's continue. Ayane sat down beside Shio, wiping her head. Ayane sat down beside Shio, wiping her hair with a towel. Shio gave her a curious look, quickly averting her gaze. Look at this lesbian. Look at these fucking gays. Flat. I didn't know you had freckles. Yeah, I don't know if I like them. I think they're cute. They make me look just a little too precautious. Ayane lingered on the word with a sigh, pushing at her cheeks. How are you feeling, anyhow? Okay, I think. Things feel a bit fussy. Just be careful, yeah? High scorers have a higher risk of contamination. I didn't need to know that. Don't stress too much. I could feel it though. When I was flying, I felt strong, but it's kind of nauseating. Those are the touches you need to be careful of. Ayane gave a wry smile. Yeah. So you wanna watch something? My senses are telling me you're going to suggest a cartoon though. Yes? Well, it is baby's special for a sleepover. So sure. Hey! They are cute. They are cute. They are cute. They are cute. Shio lay beside Ayane, unable to find a place to fix her gaze. Listen, you don't have to fix them gaze. Them gaze are pretty good. For Shio, sleeping beside someone was a difficult task, to put it lightly. What if I say something in my sleep? I used to worry about this. Sleeping next to Marie for the past 2 years has cured me of all this shit. There's scars on my right arm. If my sleeve rolls up, then I'll be under the blanket. Forget it. But what if I wet the bed? I mean, I took precautions, but having that found out is mortifying too. You can't see anything wearing a onesie. What if I wake up in the middle of the night screaming or hitting her? What if I dream about doing something to her or killing her? Oh, sweetie, someone hug this bitch! Or her killing me. Or... You alright? Ayane looked at Shio, curled up beside her. Sorry. No makeup. I love this. No makeup. This is very cute. It's very cute. I don't know why. Don't look so anxious. I'm not gonna make you sleep on the floor. Thank you. Homo anxiety, it's me. You don't have to stay if it feels too weird. No, sorry. I like being here. I am really happy you wanted me to stay. The thought of being in that cold room without Fluffy felt despairing. She probably wouldn't have been able to eat alone either. I really don't want to sleep alone. I won't get used to being around people if I don't try. Here, you can take this. Ayane shoved the teddy bear into Shio's chest. Thanks. We're gonna have to get used to sleeping next to each other once we get assigned to a carrier anyhow. I'm sure you can imagine, but there's no privacy for soldiers once we're off the ship. Bathing together, eating together, shitting together, like we're married already. Ayana yawned. Waiting together, shitting together. It's like we're married already. Ayana yawned. See, I'm a method actress. I forced myself to yawn just to retake that shot. I sure. But like I said, you gotta trust who you fly with, right? Yeah. You've been a pilot for 4 months. 4 months, right? What's it been like? Ayana rolled into her back and let up a deep sigh. I'm not as nice as someone like Susie or as brave as her, so, you know, I'll say it's been fucking scary. That was a stupid question. Sorry. Well, it was just a stupid way of asking if we feel the same way. You're scared, aren't you? Shio squeezed the teddy bear. Shio wanted to tell her what happened before her first day here. But as she tried to form the words, something twisted in her stomach. I've already said too much tonight. She doesn't need to hear any more of it. Oh, baby! Baby! She's a soldier. She's done all of this for real. She's probably had it far worse than I have. Shio thought about the scar on her shoulder and the scars before that. It's painful, it's scary, and I don't want to experience it again, but it's... I don't know. I'm scared, but I've seen plenty of bodies already. What can I say? I'm scared that I'm already familiar with it? I don't even know how I feel, honestly. Sorry. You don't need to explain yourself or anything, I sighed. I guess it's just... I'm scared too, you know? I don't care if I'm called a coward for admitting it, so you don't need to posture or anything. The culture of this whole place is sick. Yeah. I think I'm sick too. Oh, baby! Where's Belle and Honey? This is too sad. Lilac Fleet, Bar Primavera. A drinky. Oh, it's our favorite autism squirrel. So, here is my reports. Susie slid a banner towards Sima. Sima looked at the papers with disinterest. Susie and Sima's routine was always the same. Though Susie commanded the squadron, she still had to report to Sima as her superior, even if Sima didn't care to hear any of it. Sima had never taken an office at the barracks. The only place she could reliably be found was when she was drinking alone at the end of the day. It was almost always in the same spot, a tiny, depressing bar tucked away in the back street just off the base. It was a spot of no interest to the local pilots, though. The older mechanics preferred the quiet mood and cheap drinks and gave the lone major a wide berth. Susie gave a small wave to some familiar faces from around the base whenever she entered, but the pins on her lapel kept anyone from talking to her. There were a few patrons who looked at her like she'd caught them in the act, and a waitress usually hurried to her side to offer her a complimentary drink to smooth things over. Yeah, squirrels are among the most autistic creatures there are in cats. You're so right. The same as always, though, she was only here for Sima, and would only accept a glass of cola she insisted she paid for. Seriously? Does this woman just live here? You can start reading them anytime you like, Susie chirped politely, resting her chin in her hands for a few moments before giving up. Sima was yet to even look at her properly. She was like this with everyone, even her superiors. That's probably why they all hate you so much. Give me a summary. Give me a summary. Sima returned to her drink. Well, it mostly concerns Censing Rosales. That girl. Sima muttered quietly to herself. That girl? Susie asked. Never mind. Give me the summary. Susie huffed, reaching across the table and pulling back her reports. Well, her scores are quite good, actually. But well, there's the issue of, how do I say it? I'm not sure she's really fit for piloting. If pilots had to pass a proper psych evaluation... Oh, if pilots had to pass a proper psych evaluation, she wouldn't be here. She doesn't have a lot of confidence, and I don't know how she's going to take the stress. She has a lot of self-doubt and blames herself for things entirely out of her control. She's always asking for extra work, and I think she's gonna burn out quickly. Her reaction to GI Connection was quite adverse. She wouldn't eat before her flight, which certainly didn't help. I already noticed she's been skipping a lot of meals. She said herself to me that she hasn't been sleeping well either. Her refusal to undress around others is uncharacteristic for someone accustomed to the conditions of space work, coupled with everything else. I have to suspect she's trying to hide self-injury. I'd rather not say anything, and this is all conjecture. Heads up, didn't expect the self-injury stuff, but as a reminder, the story might have more of this. If this is too much, feel free to step aside and come back to another day, another stream. Or when you're feeling more up for it. No pressure. But after recent events, Command is demanding we report even the smallest suspicions around mental health. I don't really have a choice. Seema sat unmoving, staring into the amber reflection of her glass. If pilots had to pass psych evaluations, this woman wouldn't be sitting across from Susie either. The way Seema fought disturbed Susie more than anything else she'd seen on the battlefield. Staring at those wrists laid on the table, Susie could wrap a whole hand around it. It was obvious Seema wasn't eating well either. But it didn't matter for her. Seema only answered to Clemens, who certainly did not answer to Susie. Why she drank, Susie didn't know, but it was obviously a habit she had no way out of. It never seemed like war bothered her as much as simply living did. Seema did her best to avoid drinking at work, as far as Susie knew, but she still seen her vomiting in the hallways. Right now, she was as stable as she was capable of, which translated to being more or less catatonic in response to other people. What did Susie do to deserve having to babysit this dysfunctional officer earning twice her salary? Susie cleared her throat, looking back at her papers. I can't find many documents on Shio's history, but both her parents were killed when she was an infant, with no other family to speak of. She has an incredible amount of debt, medical bills mostly, all being taken care of now. She never finished high school, though, well, I think she's quite bright. She's a fast learner, and she has a lot of practical skills too. Training her to service Dragoon seems appropriate. That would probably suit her more than flying them. I can only assume that cute little android she has been her sole caretaker. You know, they usually give those to orphans. If she was ever taken in by somebody, I don't know about it. There's barely any records of her childhood. It seems she's had an immensely difficult life to say the least. She said she started work outside of hull repairs when she was 14. Of course, there's no document supporting such a thing as a practice to begin with, but why would there be? Honestly, a girl that young? Susie sighed. Just what the hell's going on in this country? Seema didn't respond, sipping from her glass. I don't know quite how to support her. I think she needs something more than just a mentor, but I can't provide that. All I can do is point her to Ensign Midorokawa for a friend, and of course, I want to believe in her, but given that series of incidents in her previous assignment, I'm not sure it's going to end well for either of them. They seem to be getting along, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Susie's gaze drifted towards the ceiling as she waited for a response from Seema. The peeling pain disgusted her. A whooping cheer erupted from a table on the other side of the room, a grinning soldier killing victory in a heated card game. The depictions of royalty in a 52 card deck were considered anti-patriotic and made playing cards a prohibited good, but they still found their way into the soldier's hands. If Susie or Seema wished, The entire table could be court-martialed by day's end. She wondered whether the cavalier attitudes of the local pilots had rubbed off on the staff around them. In Susie's case, it wasn't really expected for a lieutenant pilot to press on such a thing. Pilots gambled more than anyone else and loved showing off trophies from the battlefield. Susie's gaze? Oh no, Susie might be the only straight person in this fucking unit. That they trusted the esteemed major sitting across from her was another matter entirely. How did she attain such a position with this attitude? What were Seema studs coming to a place like this? She could drink the highest class liquor in any venue, or get her hands on any kinds of drugs she wanted given her station. What she earned in a year would allow her to buy the entire building. Why spend it on cheap drinks? She'd given up long ago trying to ask her about her past life, or why she made any of the choices she made. Seema didn't dislike Susie, but it was worse than that. She had never put it into words, but Susie grew to understand it quickly enough. Susie was nothing to her. There was nothing Seema would ever allow Susie to know about her. From observation, there was only one thing that stood out. Picking them up one day in the changing room out of curiosity, the plastic yellow glasses she wore had false lenses in them. Her eyesight was perfectly fine. The only time she'd ever seen Seema look truly angry was when she demanded Susie give them back. What did they mean to her? The decorated suit she wore and the painting of her dragoon, what were they for? She had been told once she was forbidden for media appearances, so she had never been ordered to dress up. Why would this apathetic woman care? In any case, it's irresponsible to try and trust to a soldier who could be killed. In any case, it's irresponsible to try and trust her to a soldier who could be killed at any point, and that includes myself, Susie murmured. If her ensigns had any support outside of here, they both benefit from it, but I can't do anything about that. To be frank, I don't think either of them should be pilots, but, well, Susie trailed off. That's not exactly relevant to you, is it? None of this actually affects their scores. Susie leaned against the table, taking her glasses off and rubbing her eyes. Seema remained silent. Susie put her glasses back on, sitting up straight. Both of them are a concern, but it won't affect their abilities as pilots. Everything outside of that, I'll figure it out myself. Susie sighed and rose to her feet. That's for the summary. Unless you have any objections, I'll submit those reports to command tomorrow morning. Have you noticed anything strange about her history? Oh, sorry, that's not her voice. Give me a second. Have you noticed anything strange about her history? Seema asked. Susie flinched with surprise hearing her speak. What? Seema gazed up at her, but didn't repeat herself. Frankly, all her history is quite strange. What are you getting at? I am not sure I can really say, Seema muttered to herself. It's just a gut feeling. A gut feeling of what? That she's transgender? Seema trailed off. Seema leaned back in her seat, muttering to herself. It's nothing important. Forget it. Susie rubbed her temples. You finally say something to me, and it's complete nonsense. Just how drunk are you? Susie walked home through the suburban streets, dejected. Unlike the two ensigns, she had a small home to herself off the base. She had no idea how or where Seema really lived, though she imagined it was probably close to that bar. She stared up at the shallow void of the unit ship ceiling, and she walked, trying to think what she could do for Shio. I don't think I'd be able to do this today if you weren't there. I don't think I'd be able to do this today if you weren't there. I can get those words out of my head. I tell Shio she can do it, and I'm not lying, but I don't really think she understands what I'm saying. She can't do it. Not on her own. She's just compatible with the system. Anyone can pilot if they have that quality. Absolutely anyone. The things Shio told her about her kindness and support, it felt good to receive that kind of warmth and admiration, but it wasn't true. I could beat her half to death and throw her out to space in that machine, and she would get the same result. That's what the system is for. And that's what my job is. How is she going to feel once she realizes what I'm doing to her? Cast screen updated. I've updated my journal. Yo, the Duchy of Lucia! Of the Royal Palace. So it might not be our girls. But, maybe one of our girls. Yeah, my girl! I've gone the most, like, I don't care about Honey to Honey is my favorite character. So I'm like, yeah. My girl's here. My girl. Honey knelt alongside Emile before Queen Charlotte de Lucia, a cold pressure hanging over her body. To Honey, the throne room was ominous and harsh, and carried an atmosphere totally different from that of the family home she knew. The distant private residence Honey frequently frequented was bright and airy, filled with plants and artwork. In contrast, this room was crushing, as if the entire weight of the nation was bearing down on you and forcing you to your knees. But that might actually be true. In this space where history and ideals held physical weight, magic retained only a fragment of its former glory. But it was the duchy's origin and identity, and it all flowed out from here, to fill and shape its nation. An enormous ceremonial sword rested against Charlotte's throne, but it was with only a glance that she couldn't remove someone's head from their body. Honey had only ever knelt before the Queen on one previous occasion, when swearing her loyalty to the family and to protect her daughter, Emile. Charlotte was a joyous and a relaxed woman in private, leaving Honey with a great feeling about whatever matter was so serious that I had to go back as I skipped by accident. Was so serious that it required such ceremony and required Emile to be kneeling beside her. Very cute, very cute, very cute. You may raise your heads, darlings, Queen Charlotte commanded. Oh, MILF! Queen MILF! MILF! Queen MILF! Honey looked up. The Queen met her gaze with warmth, despite the severe occasion. She was something more than human. Her face was always fixed in a calm, welcoming smile. Like her daughter, she was inhumanely tall, but her presence was something else entirely. She was the mother of the duchy, and everyone who spoke to her felt like a child. Your Majesty, Honey and Emile spoke in unison. I have an assignment for you, my precious daughter. Maybe the monarchists had a point. Listen. No, they don't. But look at that MILF. Emile glared intensely at her mother, only nodding in response. You recently observed a particular lilac dragoon, the one that bested our dear Baron Grey. Do you recall it? There is no explanation for that rack of Side of the Vine, right? Listen. Are you saying I'm also a queen? Listen. Have you looked at my tits? That's all I'm saying. Yes, Your Majesty. Stark yellow with pink accents. Named Honeybee. Quite a talented pilot, Emile recited. What do you want with it? You are to bring me that pilot, alive, by any means necessary. Killing her is absolutely out of the question. Am I your errand girl? Emil muttered. Are you not a servant to the needs of the duchy? Charlotte smiled. And what does the duchy need with a single enemy pilot? That duty is to be performed without question, and I trust you will maintain discretion in this matter. Understood, Your Majesty. Emil spat. Lady Rose of Marine. Charlotte smiled down at Honey. You are to assist my daughter in this task. I have high expectations for you. Yes. I'm trying to remember Honey's voice. Yes, Your Majesty. I won't disappoint you. Honey intoned, placing a fist to her heart. I look forward to your success, both of you. Honey sat with a cup of tea. I was about to say a cup of honey. Gazing out to the peaceful capital. She preferred coffee, though it wasn't considered very fitting for nobility. Tea was considered essential to the culture of nobility, but Honey could never tell the difference between any of it. She also took care to avoid mentioning that she preferred it with milk and sugar. Emil had taken Honey with her to a hotel in the capital, refusing as always to stay at the royal bear noises. To stay at the royal palace. Honey was used to these arguments, and she spent most of her time with Emil in a constant state arrangements, and she spent most of her time with Emil in a constant state of travel. Honey watched Emil against the balcony outside, her messy white and blue hair catching in the breeze. Her tails flicked slightly in the manner of an annoyed cat, though with 6 of them, I think she's supposed to be a kitsune. Yeah, it gave the impression of closer to a jellyfish. Something Honey had the small privilege of knowing was that only one of Emil's tails was real. Oh! The rest were the product of magic. Multiple tails were considered the divine mark of royalty, though it was actually something they had invented themselves to distinguish their appearance. Honey sipped her tea, wondering if there was any way to tell which one's the real one. Something to think about the next time Emil let her brush them. Good luck, Emil. Good fucking luck. Aren't you annoyed? Emil snarled, noticing Honey watching her as she returned from the room. What do I have to be annoyed about? That we're being blamed. Are we? What do you mean, are we? Of course we're being blamed. It's some sort of penance for that stupid Baron's death, even though it was his fault from the start. Just because I didn't stop him doesn't make me responsible for his idiotic decisions. I don't get that sense at all. Emil glared at her. And how did you figure that? Honey set down her glass, resting her cheeks on her hand. Your mother described the pilot as a woman. What has that got to do with it? I took a look at my terminal. I couldn't find any records at all on that pilot, let alone a known gender. I knew she was a woman. Where did you hear that? You know those war stories over drinks, the kind you don't like to participate in? Emil jeered. A demure lilac pilot that can beat even the selected is how the story goes. Sounds like fun. Back on topic. Gray didn't seem to recognize her machine. The guard doesn't know her either. So, what I'm saying, is this isn't state business. This isn't state business. And I'm saying Gray isn't a factor at all. Consider that your mother wants her alive. I presented my record of the battle to the guard, which of course she is privy to. If anything, she's operating on our confirmation that this pilot, a subject of her personal interest, really exists. And who better to rely on for personal interest than the two of us? Emil's scornful expression began to falter. I suppose, but isn't... Emil, she's placing her trust on you, not punishing you. Emil pouted. She spoils you. I still don't like the idea of doing her dirty work. Honey raised her cup, content with having made her point. Emil continued to wander around the room, contemplating Honey's words before eventually conceding and falling cross-legged at Honey's feet. You've always been smarter than me, haven't you? Emil sighed. That's not true. Would you like some tea? It is. Don't change the subject. And yes, please and thank you. Honey poured her cup of tea in an elegant, practiced motion. Emil didn't seem bothered by particular tastes either, but didn't like milk or sugar. You are smart. It just disappears when you talk to her. Can't argue with that, Emil sighed. You know, you're the only person in the universe who can openly interrupt me. Honey gave a light scoff, returning to her drink. Not to ruin the evening with talk of strategy, but how do you suggest we go about this? Emil asked. It's hard to say. The task of capturing any Lilac pilot is difficult. Because of their grotesque pilot interfaces, pilot systems, Lilac pilots were more dangerous the more you cornered them. The value of snipers like Honey was in their ability to kill them before they could react, but in this particular instance, she was at a disadvantage. Emil tapped the side of her cup with a finger now. Honey had always felt like she could see the gears physically begin to turn when Emil actually started thinking. Honestly, this can't be too complex. Get a spy to track her deployments, fly in, hack off the limbs, grab the cockpit, and go. Emil ran off a short list. But still, I just don't see what makes her so important to my mother to have me go and do that. Is there anything that stands out in what you've heard? To be honest, she had a rather strange presence. Honey raised her glass. Do you recognize that lens she held? Emil looked up at Honey. I don't know. It's a suicide weapon, Emil spoke in a somber voice. What? I'm serious. The Lilac reused everything. So I thought she could have simply picked it out of some debris without knowing its real use. But thinking along the lines that my mother would take an interest in battlefield trivialities, I'm beginning to think she was issued with it directly. This was when we were children, but one of the reasons the last so-called Great Offensive failed was because some of those lances. They were given to inexperienced pilots and sent to fly directly into our ship's engines. Emil spoke in an empty tone. Essentially, that lens functions as a conduit from the Dragoon's reactor to the ships, causing a catastrophic meltdown of both. One relatively cheap Dragoon for one very expensive capital ship is a pretty good trade, no? What a disgusting tactic, Honey murmured. Emil sighed, looking up the ceiling. The thing is, most of those pilots were children. The GI system can function at full capacity on a mind as young as 12. It actually performs better with children. The tolerance for pore synchronization decreases with age. Of course, with a pilot that was sent out to die anyway, it didn't matter what the side effects were. These children, who wouldn't be useful pilots as adults anyway, they were the perfect use case. Honey looked at her in disbelief. Why don't I know any of this? Does anyone else? It was completely suppressed. Emil looked up at Honey. Do you think our soldiers need to know their enemies could be children? Gundam! That bit in Gundam where the guy realizes he's fighting a child and kills himself because that's fucked up, man. Oh, yeah, we're having a great time. Honey and Emil, the princess, have been ordered by Emil's mother, the queen, to go and get Sima, who they don't know is Sima, but the pilot of the Honeybee Dragoon, Sima, the squirrel girl with autism, and bring her alive back to the queen. So they're talking about how it seems that... Oh, okay, Cassidy, hey babe. It seems that Sima, as a child, may have been part of the suicide mission, and that's why she still fights with her suicide weapon, despite not dying. That look you're giving me is why we can't say anything now, Emily said with a smirk. This all came to stop once the Navy adopted the Halo engine and we regained our footing. Emil continued. Of course, this was all covered up on their end too. The Dragoons, Lances, and pilots. They were all erased by the nature of the operation itself. Winning a war is such a dirty business, isn't it? Emil laughed cruelly. You think this pilot could have been one of those children? It's a stretch, but if she survived this long, it will explain a lot. God knows why she's still fighting now, though, or how, having been connected to that barbaric system for so long. There had to be a reason she wasn't put down after coming back alive from those missions, too. Why would she choose to hold such a weapon? It'd be quite interesting in learning her thoughts if I could, Emil pondered. But there has to be something else to this. If proving Lilac crimes could put an end to this war, we'd be there already. Their people would never believe it anyway, even if we put her up on stage and made it publicly. I can't believe what value she's meant to have to us. Honey stared out into the night sky. As she was thinking along the lines of what would make this woman so exceptional, she caught the attention of the queen. Then anything had to be on the table. A soldier that should be dead 1,000 times over. A soldier she took perfect aim at and survived. Honey wrung her hands. There was something the story reminded her of. If we're speculating, I'll say this. Honey began quietly. This pilot didn't display anything beyond a strong talent in her fight with Gray. But when I shot at her, I'm not sure if I missed or not. What do you mean? Emil asked. I held my tongue in the moment. And it's not like I can't miss. But it felt odd. I made shots like that countless times before. You think she dodged it then? Honey nodded. Of course, mathematically speaking, such an act was physically impossible for a mere human. But for a soul of the duchy trained in their magic arts, the feat itself wasn't unthinkable, and its subtlety wasn't anything unusual. The fundamental rule of fighting with magic was to keep your cards close to your chest about your capabilities, and only show them to protect your life. Almost nobody knew Honey carried a blessing, meager as it was. The only problem with this theory was that it was impossible for anyone outside the duchy to either be blessed by the mother or selected by her descendants. To suggest even the possibility otherwise would be a rejection of the foundation of the duchy's fate and the monarchy's divine right to rule altogether. However, if that pilot was simply born in the duchy, if you say you didn't miss, far be it for me to doubt the nation's best sharpshooter. Emil gave a small chuckle. But the question of exactly how she could do such a thing is beyond me to say. Looking at it like this is a rather troublesome loose end, isn't it? Honey nodded, though troublesome didn't even begin to describe it. The simplest answer was an abducted member of nobility. There had been enough unsolved cases over the years, but how could she have ended up as a child soldier in the Lilac? It was the only possible solution, but it was full of holes. Honey didn't enjoy thinking about either of their two worlds, but she wasn't ignorant of history. The people who would become to be known as the Duchy needed a miracle, but the Lilac had been fighting against miracles their entire existence. It was theologically impossible for magic to exist outside the Duchy, but it was ideologically impossible for it to exist within the Lilac. If this pilot was a defected member of the Duchy, she'd either be dissected in a lab or hung in a public square, or both in that order. There wasn't a chance she'd be allowed into the military. There wasn't a chance she'd be allowed to even draw her next breath. That every bless must be examined to the last. That it's better for them to be dead than useful to the Lilac. That is their creed. All parasites must die, without exception, without remorse, and without mercy. Her treatment would be the same if she had somehow sprung forth from within the Lilac, though an already impossible circumstance. Their favor on this fact had its equivalent in Honey's own duties. And the chimera she had put to death in the name of the Duchy? In each nation, there were beings that were simply not allowed to live. But then, what could she be? There had to be something else. Something that neither Charlotte, Emil, or herself could even theorize. What wasn't she able to see? There was no sense speculating any further. The only thing to do was to capture and examine this person. And if there was the possibility of her being a threat to your royalty, a threat to Emil, Honey would have no choice but to kill her. Before that could happen, regardless of the consequences. Autism! She had the power of autism and her mech on her side. Honey lay beside Emil in the hotel bed, gazing across her. She watched Emil stare at the ceiling, lost in thought. Is it okay if I ask? Honey murmured quietly. It wasn't something she normally did, but if she could talk with Belle, then maybe... Huh? Sorry, it just seemed like something's bothering you. It's just that I'm not very mature, am I? I mean, My instincts told me that my mother was trying to scold me in some roundabout way, or even trying to get me killed, but you saw things more clearly. I can't trust anyone, even her, and I don't think that's a very admirable trait. Emil rode to her side, looking with embarrassment at Honey. I trust you, though, completely. And dearly, Cicely. And dear Cicely, of course. Honey struggled to respond. When it came to her duties towards Emil, she could always speak directly and eloquently. But in discussing personal matters, she lost her focus. From Honey's perspective, having lost her own, it was a terrible thing for Emil to be unable to trust her mother. Beyond the sorrow of feeling distance from her family, Charlotte was the one person Emil needed to feel understood by the most. No man is an island, but where does it leave a being like Emil that stands apart from mankind? No one could see it but Honey. Royalty are guardians, our leaders, descendants of our one true God. They were holy I don't know if that's supposed to be her or not. They were holy beings with divine right over the nation, but they looked just like you and I, walked among us as mortals. Beneath the bluster of the church and true believers, there was a quiet belief that they were like any other form of celebrity. For the nobility that wished to be the one to marry a princess, like Emil, they were seen as desirable to love and even be loved by as any other beautiful women. They all wanted to be the one to tell them the deepest truth, that they were just like them, and through relating to them, find their way into their heart. A calculated show of empathy was the winning ticket. What Honey truly understood, more than anyone else in the world, was that they were not human, and nothing like a human. In all the world, there were any number of beings that could understand what it was like to be inside of Honey's skin, and none who could understand what it was like to be for Emil. Emil could not feel pain. Her emotions were not ingenuine, but only felt at her own permission. She could will herself to do anything, or become anything, feeling or unfeeling as she pleased. The sweetest love and most unimaginable cruelty were both the same distance away from her. Emil was her short-tempered, headstrong, and boorish friend, because those were the things she chose not to fight. Charlotte was graceful, perfectly composed, and a warm leader, because those were the things she chose to embrace. But Emil and Charlotte were cut from the same cloth, and either one could become the other the moment they chose. When the species that can never be described as a species, called royalty, gives birth, it's an act of mitosis. Not a trace of their partner's DNA is shared, as far as Honey knew. It wasn't even needed in the process. The connection between humanity and royalty was completely and utterly severed, and every member of royalty was born of the same template. This is really cool and interesting. I'm grateful that you trust me. I trust you too. Honey stuttered, wanting to bury her face in her pillow. Emil laughed a little. You can be cute sometimes. Honey pouted and shifted deeper under the blanket. Thanks for asking, though. I am trying to get better at communicating with people. Honey muttered, regretting it the moment she said it, but Emil didn't laugh. I could stand to do the same, honestly. Honey's blood was frozen with nerves and embarrassment. We used to talk a bit more like this when we were younger, didn't we? Honey spoke quietly. We did, didn't we? Feels like all we get to do now is just work in the same room, Emil sighed. So it's nice to get to talk a little. Honey nodded. I worry about you sometimes. Sorry. I feel like I got quieter as an adult when when I was very young, before we met. I was really energetic. Honey pondered. I've been thinking about that recently. You're still a little like that when you explain things to me. For what it's worth, Emil mumbled sleepily. Is that how it seems? Yeah, it's a nice side to see of you. I see. I don't think you're immature, by the way. That's reassuring to hear from you. Is it? You don't flatter anyone, least of all me, I suppose. That's why I can only trust you, Emil smiled. Honey felt a stab of guilt run through her. She didn't deserve to be an exception. She had her own selfish desires for Emil, just like everyone else. I'm not sure I deserve such praise. I'm the one who gets to decide what everyone in this world deserves, Emil laughed. Kidding? Don't say such worrisome things. Really though, you're allowed to have some more pride. I'm not sure it's really in my nature. At the very least, I do want to see you enjoying yourself more. I think I have been lately. Oh? I have been going out a bit more. I met a girl a while ago. We've gotten a little closer lately. Is she cute? Gay, homosexual, gay. Girls, is it gay to turn excitedly and hold another girl's hands in your bed that you are sharing when she tells you about another girl and ask her, is she cute? It's not like that, Honey mumbled. Emil's closeness made her anxious. How is it then? She's a friend. And well, it's not how you meant it, but she is cute. I think cute is the best word to describe her. She's the type who puts a lot of effort into being cute. She carries a stuffed animal with her and holds my hand. We're the same age. I mean, I didn't expect you to go for that kind of person. I'm not really sure what kind of person I like, but, well, I like that she's sincere in who she is. She's very kind. I'd like to meet her. Anyone you would call a friend must be interesting. Honey glanced away. It'd have to be discreetly. I'm not sure if being put in the spotlight like that would be good for her. Emil's ears flattened. Oh, of course, I understand. Do you know the Catsbangers well? Ah, she's their bastard, isn't she? Yes, and don't use such a vulgar word. Sorry, but I see then. Do you know her? Not directly. You know how these things go. I visited the family a few times with Mother. Every time I was with their manor, she was nowhere to be seen. Oh. Well, that aside, I'm happy you're meeting people. You are. I don't really think it's good for you to still hold up in that house. And, well, to be selfish, it's a bit of a relief to me that, Emil trailed off. Honey looked at her anxiously. She never knew how to talk about this. Emil sighed. I'm happy for your sake. I really am. Sorry. We should get some sleep. You can say what's on your mind. Emil pouted, angry at herself. What is there to say? I'm glad I haven't fucked up your life completely. I can't say such selfish things. You decided on your own to stay by my side. It's insulting for me to complain. Emil rolled over, facing away from Honey. I don't have the right to complain about anything, but it's all I ever do. I want to listen to those complaints, though, Honey said quietly. Emil looked back at Honey, confused. You are my dearest friend. Honey continued, so I always want to listen to you. That's all there is to it. I don't have anything I can say back to that. Allow me to continue being a brat then. We really do need to get some sleep though. Honey nodded. Good night, Emil. Good night, Honey. I really do love you. All of you. Even that brother side. Gay. Gay. Meow. Meow. Talking about gay, Shio and Ayane spend the night together, but more due to trauma. And Ayane trying to be good than to like sexy stuff, but still gay. Meow. 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 Are they doing this very long? Sorry, chat. I'm annoyed at the thing. I think, it doesn't matter. It's not important. I'll talk about it later. Shio lay staring at the ceiling of Ayane's room. She wasn't sure how much she had slept, if at all. Like Ayane said, it really was baby's first sleepover. As an adult, she'd never even been inside a friend's room. When she was in the early learning center, the rooms were all shared, but they weren't friends. She had no lasting friendships in school. When she left to start work, all her co-workers were over twice her age. Working in space was unusual for an early teen, but she needed a lot of money, fast. Okay, babe. Mwah, 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 mwah. She had slept in her boyfriend's room, but it wasn't like this. Ayane really was kind to her. She wasn't just killing time or speaking to someone just because they happened to be there. Shio had been filled with doubt about her, but there was nothing else she could call it but friendship for them to be laying together like this. Ayane could have just ditched Shio in her room. She didn't need to get her dinner or brush her hair or do anything to look after her. She watched the cartoons she liked with her. She teased her all the time about her childishness, but had spent the night indulging her in it. These were all things that reassured her, but they didn't help Shio relax. The feeling of being liked by someone was overwhelming. She wanted to spend more time with Ayane like this. They really were friends. This prospect was so exciting it made her mind race with both thoughts of their future together and the fear of disappointing her this homosexual. Everything about the inside of Shio's brain felt too mortifying to be seen. She'd slept like this beside Ayane without telling her she still wet the bed sometimes. Her entire existence felt humiliating. But something about Ayane, I keep changing the way I'm pronouncing her name, Ayane, made Shio feel like even that wouldn't bother her. She'd tease her probably a lot, but Ayane wasn't cruel. There was definitely no way Shio could bring herself to tell her she had to wear a diaper to bed, though, or most days in general. Shio rubbed her face and suppressed a groan to herself. I know, baby. This cycle of examining her own embarrassing existence had been going on for what felt like hours. She squeezed the teddy bear Ayane had given her, to sleep with. Shio usually woke up holding Fluffy, nuzzling her and squeezing her against her face. Ayane didn't find her dependence on Fluffy to be anything shameful. Shio shifted upright, resting her chin on her knees. It was definitely morning. The artificial light was creeping in through the kitchen window, just like in her own one. She'd forgotten all about being on a military base, and that her duties would probably begin just in under an hour. The military, with all its rules and restrictions, particularly on the relations between soldiers. Was a soldier really allowed to sleep outside of their room? Or have guests? Was she going to be in trouble today? So long as no one found out, then. As if on cue, a sharp noise rang out through the small room. Ding dong! Meh! Tactical squeak! The worst possible sound she could have heard at that moment. There was someone at the door. Another soldier. Love this. Uh-huh. I am caught in bed with Ayane, another woman. This is seen as some homosexual fraternization. I say something in the trial that makes it worse because I'm a fucking idiot. I am executed by firing squad. Hey, ladies. Anyone wants to do some homosexual fraternization with me? You know where I'm at. Ayane, wake up! There's someone at the door! Shio hissed at her. You get it. Ayane said, rolling over. God, I love her. I can't. Sure you can. I'm dead meat. Shio, are you there? A familiar voice called out. Susie! Shio scrambled to the door, hitting the unlock button. Good morning, ma'am. Shio stammered. Good. Give me a second. Whoa, being executed by the firing squad every day, baby, every day. Also, you ever have your commanding officer see you in your onesie? Good morning. Are you alright? Susie looked down at the sweating ensign with concern. I'm fine. Those are some cute PJs. Susie laughed. Thank you. Shio hung her head. Sorry. Is it breaking the rules for me to be here? It's breaking the rules for me to be here, isn't it? What? Not really. I figured you'd be sleeping here. Sorry about ringing so much, Susie giggled. It's just that Mater Okawa here typically refuses to answer. Oh. Has she been looking after you? Yes. I'm doing a fantastic job. Ayane mumbled from the bed. Fucking love Ayane. Fucking love Ayane so much. Good, good. How are you feeling? I'm well, I think. Excellent. Now, sorry to put you back to work, but we still need the debrief. Oh, yes, of course. I'll get dressed. It isn't right now. I just came here to give you the PTC and make sure you're feeling okay. Oh, thank you. Shio took the cards from Susie. Place time cards were a simplified form of written orders for pilots. Or better put, an idiot-proof system for these stupid, untrained people who lucked into being pilots. As the name suggested, it was simply a piece of cards stamped by an officer with a room number and a time to be present at the gates. Every time she was given one, Shio couldn't help but think how much more efficient it could all be done digitally. So cute in the morning. So fucking cute. This is like Erica in the mornings, honestly. I mean, I don't know. It's very cute. Don't pilots get the day off after a flight? Ayane teased, rising to meet the lieutenant. If requested, Susie corrected, smiling brightly. I'm okay. Alright, I got things to attend to. Listen, big, tall puppy girl who's very pretty, sleeps on a shirt. I know her. I've woken up next to her. I do hope you'll make it to class, Ayane. Yeah, sure. Ayane huffed. Take care, you two. Thank you. Shio nodded. As soon as Susie closed the door behind her, Shio let off a loud sigh. Oh, she saw me dressed like this. Shio whined, sitting back on Ayane's bed. You made your onesie, and now you gotta sleep in it. That was a good joke. Bear noises. That's verily a joke. You're verily a joke. Hey! I'm sure it gave you some points with her. She's the doting type. I don't know how to feel about that coming from a superior officer. I mean, she is straight. I fucking called it. Like she's the only straight person in this fucking squad. At least I think so. That's not what I meant. I wanna go back to bed, Ayane whined. We got assembling half an hour, Shio sighed. You'd have to hold a gun to my head to make me show up for that shit. Shio wrung her hands. I don't wanna get in trouble. It's cute how grin you are. I'll report you for hazing, Shio said with a pout. I'm too pretty. I can worm my way out of anything. Like showing up for assembly. Also, hey, we got off early today, yeah? Wanna go shopping later? What for? We can get your suit sorted. I know a good place you get picked on if you leave it naked. Oh yeah, that would be great. We'll pick out a phone for you too. Yeah. I'm gonna get dressed. You sure you ain't coming? Nope. Have fun. This has definitely been fun, but I still think Coquette Dragoon as a fiction peaked in, or maybe just for me and what I like, but it feels like it peaked in Chapter 2. This is not bad, this is good. Everything there is good, but Chapter 2 was so fucking good. It was like, Chapter 2 was like a 15, and this is like a 10. 10 out of 10 is great, but the motherfucker was a 15 out of 10. Susie greeted Shio with a smile. Good morning! Though, I guess I've already said that. Morning! How was breakfast? Susie asked. Oh, my stomach isn't still feeling very good. I had a little bit of toast. Not roast. Well. It should clear up soon. Your first connection is always the worst one. Don't worry. Yeah. She sounds kind of disappointed. Anyway, normally this kind of debriefing is done with an engineer, but no one is available at the moment. I had someone lined up for today, but they were reassigned, Sissy sighed. Oh, I'm sorry if I messed up the schedule yesterday. Shio, test flights are always account for adverse reactions. Don't worry about it. So sorry. The full interview for your machine's performance will come later, but in the meantime, you can give me a written report. Is that okay? Of course, totally okay. It's not okay. I'm really stupid. Hold my hand. I don't like writing. I love this girl. What comes next is getting your machine properly fitted and painted. We'll have a meeting with a designer for that. That seems a bit... Susie laughed. Excessive? It is, but Dragoons are a symbol, whether we like it or not. I saw the model of yours. Don't remind me. Anyway. Oh, I forgot. You haven't had any nosebleeds since yesterday, have you? No? Okay, that's good. Susie breathed a sigh of relief. Now, have you put any thought into a name for your Dragoon? Not yet. Thinking of its appearance in the hangar, Shio was at a loss. I'm not sure where to start, honestly. It has to be something fairly easy to say, 3 syllables or under. My advice is whatever word comes into your head when you look at it. Shio nodded emphatically. I see. I'll give it some thought. Take your time. You won't need it until deployment. Yeah. You know, what we're told as officers is most young pilots treat receiving their Dragoon as this grand moment. a symbol of status, esteem, recognition, or power. They will want to ask about how they can paint it, how they can arm it, how fast it can be made to fly, and so on. But, for you, what do you think when you see it? I think I'm a little scared of it, but it's kind of comforting too, Shio murmured softly. Susie smiled at her. It's an enormous weight, isn't it? It is. A weapon is a weapon, and we're only soldiers by circumstance. I know you understand that. But our lives depend on caring for these machines. Shio nodded. I'm in charge of negotiating for a squadron's material budget. If you tell me what you'd like to have fitted, I can make a case for it. Do some research and equipment to get a better understanding of Dragoon design, and think about your own capabilities. Of course, as a provisional squadron, we aren't exactly a high priority, so keep your expectations very measured. I have to ask then, about Siemens Dragoon. Unfortunately, that's a question even I can't ask, but yes, just from looking at it, that thing cost as much as the rest of the squadron put together. As far as I'm concerned, she's just being tested with testing prototype systems. We can talk about it since it concerns us as her squad mates, but don't ask around about her, okay? I think you have a good sense of these things. Pilots are only officers by name. There are things we aren't meant to know about, but are exposed to by circumstance. Even just what's inside the cockpit computer is considered classified information. Dismantling a GI can get you executed. Shio bristled at hearing that word. Yes, of course. Now, as for a squadron's formation, myself and Major Valentine are on point. Susie presented a pile of documents riddled with diagrams. Make sure you study these. Your GI will know what to do with the information. As I said yesterday, Midorikawa is the rearmost position. Her machine is fitted for long-range radar, visual sensors, and communication equipment. She provides for signaling and reconnaissance, as well as long-range anti-ship fire. In addition, her machine is able to pick up on signal traffic from the enemy, giving us some semblance of an early warning system. Your position will be in front of Midorikawa, providing covering fire for myself and Valentine, and protecting her from attackers trying to close in. I see, but, for her ranks, isn't this... Sima won't fight with anything but her lance, Susie said, and then grinned slightly. And I quite like my sword. It's usually the officer's job to fill Ayana's role, but she's far better suited to the task than fighting directly. You wouldn't guess it, but her skills with ballistic calculation is the real thing. A low score doesn't negate that. And even a low-scoring pilot is an expert at signal intelligence. As for myself, I know my position is the riskiest one. I don't hold a candle to Valentine, but I do have my pride as an ace. Shio nodded. It's our duty to protect one another. I really do believe that. I won't let you down either, Shio affirmed. With your score, you'll be an ace in no time. I don't doubt you at all, Susie said, offering her another smile. Yeah. Well, we'll do another short training flight tomorrow afternoon, of course. You don't exactly need it, but I'd still like to get you adjusted to the system quickly. Shio nodded. I was actually hoping I could do another. As their conversation continued and the minutiae of Shio's new role as a pilot, Shio's mind fixated on a single thought. She had wanted to call Susie kind, but that didn't feel like the right word for it. She didn't even know if the right word existed. The things Susie had laid out so plainly were difficult to grasp the entirety of. She called it the pride of an ace, where her assignments of roles was so utterly selfless. Ayana's score was this one, and she was assigned a cheap, fragile machine only fit for reconnaissance. But what kind of officer just decides to let someone off of having to fight? It was Susie's nature to take on additional work to cover for the flaws of a subordinate, but this was life and death. And this whole time, she'd already been fighting like this, just for Ayana's sake. A girl Susie did not even particularly like, who took none of her duties seriously at all. Any other commander would leave her for dead. Shio was a better pilot than Ayane and Susie on the basis of score alone. She had the skill to fight in the melee, but even still, Susie placed herself in front of Shio. She always seen Susie as a kind-hearted leader, but now Shio questioned if she deserved to be in her presence at all. Oh baby, stop doubting yourself. Please. Ayane stood waiting for the elevator with a donut in hand, cursing her cruel fate of having to be anywhere or do anything. Having forgotten where she left her timetable, she'd gone out to harass a clerk for a new one, only to find she was already late for her first class of the day. Shio was probably already there, waiting for her. Fearing it was better late than never, in terms of her punishment, she reluctantly made her way to the train station, though not without first passing through the cafeteria for snacks. God. As she rounded the corner towards the exit, she noticed a small figure hovering by the hall close to the library. You little shit, Ayane muttered, stumbling towards Fufi. Ayane glanced toward the library doors. So this is where you've been hiding. Aren't you busy? Fufi glanced pointedly at the timetable wrapped around the donut in Ayane's hand. No, what are you doing? Researching. Oh? Honorable Dirches and permissions. Fufi monotoned. Sounds good. You're gonna set me up with one too? Shio shouldn't be here. Is that what you're so pissed off at her about? I am not pissed off about anything, Fufi protested. Then why are you avoiding her? It's none of your business. I am her friend. You don't know anything about her. Sure, I don't really. Ayane took a bite of her donut. But she's pretty upset with you. Can't you just talk to her? Go to class. You're no fun at all. Ayane sighed and continued walking on. Lilac Food Cavalry Academy, number 68. Oh, pretty. Chat, I'm gonna talk about it. I've been thinking about this, and I'm gonna complain about this. Only for a bit, then I'll keep going. There's a fucking bot that keeps following me. I think it keeps like unfollowing me and following me. And it's a transphobic bot, and it's annoying the shit out of me. I don't think I can deal with it. I don't think I can pan it or anything. Not from here. Do it later. But I don't know. Fucking give me some affection or some energy. Yeah, that's all. If you see me go quiet, it's because I see it following and get annoyed, upset. I don't know. I get something for sure. Love a little transphobia. Shio held her backpack straps as she followed the crowd of black and yellow uniform ensigns towards the campus. Ayane hadn't been at the station, and she was too scared to risk being late waiting for her. But she already missed her. Her body temperature spiked as she thought again about how it felt to sit in her lap, Ayane's hands running through her hair. Shaking her head, Shio steered herself to enter the school grounds to face another day of lectures and study. The colorful buildings of the Lilac Cavalry Academy loomed over the surroundings. A gaudy statue of a dragoon posed with the lilac flag proudly stood guard in front of the main building. Of course, since there was no real wind inside, these residential factors of Separantes The esteemed flag of the Lilac Fleet hung limp and unrecognizable. There was no need for a flag like this to exist at all in a windless nation, and it was here solely for the sake of the dreams of soldiers and politicians. The dream that where it would finally be planted into the earth of the duchy's capital. But after centuries of fighting, such a thing had never taken place, and the act depicted on the statue remained a fantasy. While those officers dreaming of victory were most detestable class of all, in becoming a pilot, Shio had found herself placed among them. Ensign was a unique title, given only to new pilots. The most junior of all commissioned officers, essentially a position not yet qualified to hold a real officer's authority, but still placed above the enlisted ranks. For anyone else, the process of making it to such a position took years of training and veterancy, and all Shio had to do was take a few tests and sign a pile of forms. For these ensigns, the purpose of these schools was to eventually turn these paper officers into the real thing. A high-ranking Dragoon pilot had command over the entire companies of Dragoon, warships, and other forces. The GI system combined with educational and experience, turning a human into a powerful battlefield computer. While Susie was her commander, in a larger deployment, she and her squadron would be subordinate to a much higher-ranked pilot. As she understood more about these ranks, the question of how Seema attained the title of major, and yet still was a subordinate, and was still subordinate to a mere lieutenant, continued to nag at the back of her mind. Shio hesitated at the base of the statue, hoping to catch sight of Ayane running behind her. The suburban world of the ship was white and piercing. It was like making an entire world out of a hospital. Everything polished to a mirror. Everything polished to a mirror sheen, reflecting the harsh wall of light above. When she breathed in, it felt like she could taste disinfectant. But on top of the familiar ship smells were other unfamiliar smells. Plants, gravel, tarmac, brick, and wood. Everything felt so foreign. When she looked out into the distance, the world seemed to spin, unease gripping her. Her eyes weren't used to this light, or being able to see so far. She could pick out the members of the crowd that were like her from their awkward pace, awed at the sights that were so mundane and boring to anyone here. To anyone born here. Seeing these other outsiders was crushing. It was proof she was visible too. Why did it bother her so much? A pilot was a pilot. So long as she wore this uniform, she belonged. She just felt it herself. How strong she was in her Dragoon. She was untouchable to these people. A pilot was superior than a rifleman, a mechanic, a crewman, a doctor, a teacher, a civilian. It didn't matter anymore to anyone where she came from, only the particulars of her mind that assigned a strategic value to her existence. But it was all conditional. Getting permission to live here didn't change this world was made of the deserving and the undeserving. This was still the camp of the enemy, and more she found herself disturbed by her peers. Seema was silent, and Ayane and Susie both expressed their distaste for this conflict in their own ways. It was obvious now that this provisional squadron, and the special division itself, was a dumping ground for the uncooperative and unpatriotic. The majority of pilots around her wore patch-covered jackets over their uniforms, showing their affiliation, glory won in campaigns, or even kill counts. They all carried the same airy grin. To these people, this war was the best thing that ever happened to them, and they wouldn't let it end before they had their fill. As she stood amidst its bloodthirsty pilots, she could hear snippets of those stomach-turning conversations as they passed. Right in the cockpit. Wish I could have seen the look on his. And then the explosion was wicked. I still wiping the guts off the table. Still wiping the guts of the blade. The piece of shit was begging. Can you believe when you shoot infantry, they just go poop like that? Those pilots who spend all day with a smile on their face. Wouldn't it be nice to just get rid of them all right here? The thought crossed her mind that maybe this was why she hadn't been given a gun yet. GI reached her mind too. Was there someone sifting through the output? She rubbed her temples. That was a delusion. Thoughts can't be quantified into text by any machine, even that one. It's natural to be stressed under surveillance, she told herself. She stopped her thoughts again. That was another delusion. She'll wiped the sweat from her face on her sleeve. Ducking her head as she passed through the academy doors, keeping her eyes fixed on the ground. Remember this always. You pilots are the flag bearers for that lilac forces. The morale and valor of the pilots reflect that of the entire nation. Cowardice is the one and only sin for a pilot. As an instructor for new pilots, I am asked one question, more than other. How do I fight against the parasite? Killing these monsters is our one role in the battlefield. The cavalry frame, the GI, and this academy were all built for one purpose. I'm sure I don't need to give examples of the parasites, capabilities, but pilots must always remember that its greatest threat is purely psychological. Confusion and decision paralysis are more lethal than any weapon. It's a saying as old as history itself. All warfare is based on deception. For instance, the anti-rain field projected by your own craft cannot be easily perceived, and without sufficient scientific understanding, it might as well be magic. A Dragoon couldn't lift its own weight with relying on purely mechanical strength. We live in an era where the technology around us cannot be understood without a specialized education, and our understanding of the parasite must fit into this framework. It is not magic. We are not fighting an enemy we cannot comprehend. As evidenced by the current state of the war, their so-called power has not offered any meaningful advantage over our own courageous forces. Think of their ill-fated living weapons program. Just as you find those creatures of no man's land to be erratic and uncontrolled, the parasite of the duchy fares no better against simple cold steel. And, as you can infer from the use of the word parasite, this power is in no way desirable. To be infected in the process they call selection is to give up one's free will and the very foundation of the self. To describe the makeup of the Duchy of Lucia, one can look to a colony of ants. She'll heard the soft clatter of the lecture hall doors, followed by Ayane sneaking down the aisle and planting herself beside Shio. What are we learning? Ayane asked as she ruffled through her backpack. About parasites? Ayane rolled her eyes. Oh, good. No notes needed. Covering her mind with one hand, Shio whispered, This is for real, right? Ayane only shrugged. I mean, I kinda thought it was a little, just something to make them sound scary. Ayane curled her lip, leaning against her hand into for a short while. I think it's more than we're trying to pretend it is in real. Shio followed yawning Ayane out of the lecture hall. She rubbed the back of her head, trying to connect everything together. In her hands were worksheets and documents and things she couldn't believe, all presented so casually. Magic was real, and she'd only see it in the moment before it killed her. What was rumor? What was propaganda? And what was reality? Our enemy is so far beyond our understanding, and this is how we're acting? This is all too much. Living biological weapons? She heard any number of tall tales over the years, crystalline serpents devouring wayward astronauts who venture into the deep of space debris. Those stories she thought as utterly fictional. Ayane lit a cigarette. Those are real. Not that there are many left now. We gave life to those cute little plush toys, so of course we give it to something worse. Shio reflected on the debris field she'd been in only yesterday. Was this the big enemy her mind was trying to reach? I guess I just thought those were stories to scare kids or something. Shio held her hand out for Ayane's lighter. Truth and military secrets are stranger than fiction, Ayane said, lighting Shio's cigarette for her instead. Magic, selection, all that. It's real too. It's not really that deep though. I'd be more scared if they had atom bombs, or if we did. Shio stared at the papers in her hands. No one ever talked about the duchy and the fringes. They were the wealthy, uncommon enemy, but so was the rest of Lilac. No one knew anything. Everyone just wanted to quietly get by however they could. Joining the military was a death sentence no one returned from. Have you ever seen one? A parasite, Shio asked quietly. Just the one. Our dear Sima killed them in a heartbeat. Really, though. Most of them aren't anything special. It's like... Ayane held her cigarette out like a pointer. Royalty selected children of the selected. It gets weaker as it's passed down. Most of the selected are old generals and politicians. It's their dumb kids that actually get in the Dragoons. Which, duh, of course. If you're that important, you're never going anywhere near the front lines. Apparently, some are just like born like that at random. They're called the Blasts, though they don't have very strong powers. It's like 1 in a million, though. Shio rifled through her papers. None of that is in here. How do you know this? I read about it on patrols, and I've got some crazy sensor equipment. I wrote some code to get into the Duchy internet, though. Their cellular network. It downloads encyclopedias, forums, social networks, and stuff. Then I filter it by some key phrases, etc. You can feed it into the data dump, but I can read it the old-fashioned way. It's a nice way to kill the time out there. You can do that all from a Dragoon? Ayane shrugged. Don't ask me how. I don't know that much about computers without a GI. I don't have a good score either, so it's hard to remember how I do it. Huh. I can't get a good enough connection to get many images, but their text is interesting enough. Some of the stuff you find in their SNS is pretty weird. Duchy Twitter goes crazy! They're like kin culture and fanfic about their own ability. I'm a little sad you just assumed I knew what those words meant, Shio sighed. Any fun baby Shiokins? Shut up. Or present ones? God, no. Ayane laughed. But yeah, it's sort of funny. The internet is the same everywhere, I guess. My impression of her enemy is doing another 180. Shio mumbled as she rubbed her head. I even got accounts on their websites. Makes me wonder how many random accounts I see over there are really from the Duchy. What username do you use? Shio asked. Roadkill girl, same as everywhere else. Ayana replied, curly unashamed. I thought it was cool when I was 13. I stand by it. Right. Ayana took a short drag. I did learn something interesting though. There hasn't been a selection for over 20 years. Normally it's around every 5. The fastest it's been is once a year. That seems like a pretty big deal, right? You'd have to think so, yeah. Selection isn't brainwashing. They'd revolt if it was, but it does change people. And it passes down to your kids, too. It kind of just a simple reward structure, you know? Do well, win big in the army, maybe the government will give you a little something. Sounds familiar? Roadkill Girl is so fucking good for a username. Jesus Christ. So fucking good. It's just as cool as she. Even when she was 13. Like, holy shit. So fucking cool. Huh. But that's what I meant. They wanted so bad, they killed for it. So, how does this noble class feel about their queen no longer handing out treats? There's something weird going on over there. But there's only so much you can figure out from snapshots of public internet archives. Text only, too. Jesus Christ! Nancy! Fuck! And it's strange we aren't talking about it over here. Would it be a good thing for us if they stop doing selections? Recalling Susie's words, Shio quickly glanced around and then leaned closer. Are we meant to talk about this? Relax. Pilots are expected to know some things. Just, you know, keep your mouth shut. Susie gave you the same warning as me, I take it? Shio laughed at herself. Am I that easy to read? Can't say it's not good advice. Yeah. Shio ran her gaze across the surrounding soldiers as she followed behind Ayane. What were their impressions of the lecture they've been given just now? Why does it feel like I'm the only one? My voice is going, and the Shio voice. Why does it feel like I'm the only one so freaked out by all this? Well, Ayana approached the vending machine, looking over it up and down, before suddenly kicking it at the base of it to see if anything was going to fall out. Denied a free treat, she clicked her tongue in disappointment. It's a different education, I guess. The duchy, parasites, all that. It's drilled into you in school here. In the fringes, school is just preparation for work, Ayana began, counting coins in her hand. At least that's how I've heard it told. No, that's completely right. Shio sighed, leaning against the wall beside her. Not too different here, but they're pretty interested in teaching us about the war, duchy, all that. Unless we're told about it, the war might as well have never existed. The hull of this ship has never been breached, Ayana said coldly, crouching down to look at the bottom row of drinks. This ship is big enough to be a whole world to people. No one born here has any reason to willingly step outside of it, either. We all grow up being told over and over again about the violent enemy and cold recesses of space waiting outside, and what's necessary to prevent it all from coming here. Shio nodded. It makes sense. If they couldn't be motivated by circumstances like those in the fringes, they had to be motivated by ideology. And here I am. Cast out of heaven, Ayana said, laughing at herself. If I die for this rotten praise, it'll all be too fucking tragic. Shio could only take a drag from her cigarette in response. Sorry, I'm just being bitter, Ayana moaned. Those lectures give me migraines. It's all the same. They lie to her face and we just have to take it and pretend it's fine. They can't teach us how to fight a parasite. All they can do is try and convince these stupid kids that it's worth jumping into the meat grinder. The real thing can cut a spaceship in half with just a sword. Ayana made a chomping motion with her hand to illustrate. If we run into something like that? Shit, I ain't fighting it. Ayana sighed. Enough morbidity. You want a drink? I'm good, Shia replied quietly. Relax, Ayana snickered. You'd already be going to jail just for not reporting anti-patriotic speech. It's not that, Shia sighed. I just don't like drinking anything before getting on the train. Ah, I used to be anxious about that when I was like 6. The pair of ensigns squeezed through the train doors among a crowd of soldiers. Shio made her best effort to look for an empty seat with no luck. She was far too short to comfortably reach the hand grips for standing passengers. Wrap your arms around Ayane! Here. Ayane grabbed Shio's shoulder, looking down at her with a laugh. Thanks, Shio said, pouting as she wrapped around Ayane's arm. Gay, homosexual, gay. It's okay. You'll hit your growth spurt one day. Ugh. Most people get off at the next stop anyway. Or we could bully some old lady out of a priority seat. Don't do that, Shio stammered. Scaring you is way too easy. Shio pouted again, facing away from her. Sure enough, the crowd had thinned out as they arrived at the interchange, the group of soldiers splitting off onto their own train lines. Even if it was at the bottom of the food chain, Special Division at least had the small perk of the barracks being on the same line as the school. Shio rested on her knees beside Ayane in her newfound seats, her eyes fixed on the world outside. Suburbs, skyscrapers, shipyards, parks, farming fields, views that were flat and sprawling, or building layered on top of each other as densely as possible. Each internal wall of the ship separated one world from another, every one of them larger than any ship Shio had lived on before. As Ayana said, this ship had never been breached. War had never touched this place. Never in her entire life had she seen such a thing in her work. Every hole she ran her hands across was pockmarked and bruised. Every interior she had been reconstructed 3 times over. So much of the ship was still foreign and unseen to her. So much of it existed only for her to pass through like this. She had never set foot in any of these places, and probably never would. It was scary to think she was now living in a place so vast she could never live long enough to see all of it. The pink blur of fields every now and then prompted her to lean forwards in a rapt study. Even as an outsider, she knew all about them. The lilacs of the lilac fleet, the blood coursing through this nation. Like turning lead into gold, these flowers turn anything composable into a substance volatile enough to fuel ship reactors. The beating heart of her Dragoon was filled with these flowers. The propellant inside the cases of her rifle ammunition was made from these flowers. Sure love living in an environment not torn by war. I'm so glad this will absolutely last. The food she had so childishly been avoiding was once again the product of these flowers. Flower growing, always in bloom, forever glowing, forever growing, always in bloom. Harvested day and night with minimal effort, scarcity was a thing of the past. The promise of a beautiful world was right in front of her, and instead, this endless resource was being put to use in an endless war. That pilot who extended a hand to her? Which field was she in now? Oh. So, when they die, they get buried and turn into flowers, huh? Susie wants me to name my Dragoon. I'm kinda stuck though. Got any ideas? A few, but I'm not sure. What's yours called, by the way? I never asked. Lace. Shio recalled its appearance in the hangar. Huh. That fits. 'Cause it's sexy, yeah? Shio nodded. I mean, yeah. That actually is kind of reassuring. I've been thinking of Coquette for mine. I like it. Lace and Coquette. Yes, baby, let's go. Actually, back. I'm gonna try to take that picture again before. There we go. This is good. I'm gonna post this on the group chat. Give me 1 second, chat. 1 second. I'll answer that later. In the meantime, I will put this here. God, that's so good. I just sort of came into my head looking at it. The tides are certainly shield trailed off. You gay girl. They certainly are. It's not a corny name, right? I like it. We're matchies. I thought you'd go for something cutesy instead. I had a laugh. I like to think I have more than one personality trait. Robot fucker representation. Listen, buddy, they wouldn't even let me fuck the robot. Though, for the color, I was thinking of powder pink and blue. Trans. Now that's very you. It doesn't clash with the name. Everyone gives them sexy names. That's probably more normal than painting it like a baby toy. Fighter pilots paint pinups on their jets. They tell infantry treat your rifle like it's your sweetheart. Ever since the dawn of time, when man first smashed man's head with a club, we've been trying to fuck our weapons, I guess. This is my, we could have made them look like anything, but we made them look like this. We made it look like us. I really need to post this. Anyway, God, good shit. Where we at? When this scene ends, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure the scene, the kind of art that goes around online of Dragoons in certain circles. She'll hunt her head. Yeah. I always sort of wonder how a pilot would feel seeing that kind of art. She'll sighed. I guess I know now. Pilots are the people that want to fuck them the most, probably. Does rubbing one out in the cockpit count as having sex with it? Ayane asked herself aloud. Don't tell me you do that. When you're stuck inside one for days at a time out there, you'll do the same. Everyone does it. I'd like to stay innocent for a little longer at least. Okay, Chad, I think now that scene's sober. I'm not saying I'm ending the stream. Straight jorking it. I love this for them, yeah? I am going to save. I am going to put us in and starting soon, coming soon thingy. And I'm gonna check in on my wife and see if I should end the stream, because we have some stuff, but I need to check in on her, see if we want to leave now or later. So I shall leave you with a grizzly bear. No music for some reason. Well, chat, with the image. Oh, huh! This is very funny. I forgot I had this here. Don't worry about this. I also have this. Ah, me! Didn't mean to show that. Whoopsie daisy. You didn't see nothing. You didn't see nothing, chat. Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call the stream. Probably need to go and cut that part from the highlights and stuff. But yeah, I'm calling it for now. I'll see you all. Next stream is gonna be Thursday morning with some Peglan, and then Thursday at 2 with some more Coquette Dragoon.